Okay, today I'm at Garwnant, the Garwnant Visitor Centre, and the route I've planned takes me north through Garwnant, up past the reservoirs to the Beacon Reservoir. We then cross a patch of slightly wet ground, it tends to be, till I enter the Storey Arms Visitor Centre, but I'm not going up to Penavon. I'll instead be taking the Taff Trail marked route down towards Llyn Tarell and the River Tarell, going down there for a little while, and then eventually turn around to get to Llyn Cwm Llwch, if I remember rightly, which is at the foot of Penavon. I won't be going up Penavon. Loads of people got Penavon. I've done it several times. It's going to be busy today. I'm going to skirt around the back bottom of it, and then eventually I end up back at the Storey Arms Visitor Centre, and then retrace my steps back. Probably won't be a lot of footage for the first couple of K because Garwnant is, these paths are very much that sort of wide Forestry Commission road, and I've shown plenty of that in recent videos. But once I get past the reservoir and towards the Marshy bit and the view of the Storey Arms, I'll take some footage there and show you this Taff Trail mark, which is a beautiful little route that not many people realise. Now everyone goes to Storey Arms and heads towards Penavon and then miss this bit. Okay, so there's people coming by the side of me. I'll just hang up now and catch you up later. Okay, I'm leaving the first of the Forestry Commission type road now, and you can see there's a gate in the distance up there. This is the first patch of quite marshy ground that you hit as you leave Garwnant. To my right is, I believe, Beacon's Reservoir. I can't remember the name of the reservoir. I think it's Beacon's Reservoir because here's Beacons in Cantref. Anyway, it's the northern reservoir. And leave this gate now. The ground gets a little bit marshy and wet, and we head to some more forestry straight ahead. We go through that. There's some wonderful waterfalls there, and above it is the Penderyn Road, but we won't be taking the Penderyn Road. When we head towards Storey Arms, we won't be taking the Penavon ascent. Be interested to see how many people are up there. It's quite a popular route. But we won't be taking that, we'll be taking the road less travelled today. Perpendicular to the one ascent of Penavon, there's a trail on the map marked the Taff Trail. It's a bit strange because it's nowhere near the Taff. It actually follows the River Tarell, and it starts off as a rough path, then slowly improves, turns to like farmer's track, then it turns to a unclassified road. You can follow that all the way to Brecon, or jump on the canal towpath, and head towards Talibont and Llangennida that way. But I won't be doing that today. As you can see here, there's the marsh. What we'll be doing instead is part way along. They may be a bit jumpy as I leap over wet bits. In fact, let's take a bit of a detour. Yes, so I'll be taking a detour perpendicular again to that route, and we head up through like a forested car park, and then there's a path heading towards Llyn Cwm Llwch, if I remember the name correctly, I've pronounced it correctly, and that's in the shadow of the peak of Penavon. We'll then ascend partially up that route before again taking the perpendicular turn, dropping down into a small valley, ascending the other side, and then heading back this way back to Garwnant. And as you can see, this is quite damp. It's quite damp even in the driest times. Even during the heat wave there was still a bit of surface moisture about. So of this route, this is probably the most annoying. The rest of it's actually quite nice. Like I say, the trail sort of slowly improves from rough gravel, stony path to road, and then we go through places like, we won't, but you do go through places like Libanus and things on the way. Some beautiful little villages in Powys. But that's not our route today. Also, interestingly enough, if you come up this way, if instead of going up through Storey Arms and the Taff Trail, you go the other side, there's a nature reserve, and I believe its name is Craig Corrig Glaciad. It's a natural amphitheatre. That's quite some striking glacial features there, and that's very interesting to explore. There's a road there, and that road leads to Ysradfellte Reservoir and ultimately Ysradfellte. And again, apologies for my Welsh pronunciation, although I'm Welsh, I'm not a native speaker. Though I have learned a bit in my adult years, my pronunciation is probably very poor, and the Welsh speakers right now are grimacing as I speak. But so I'll stop this now, because this is just largely another rough K of this, and I'll pick this up as we get closer to the waterfall I was saying in the approach by the side of the Penderyn Road. We then cross over there. We have another patch of marshy-ish ground. Gosh, sounds like a list then. Marshy ground, let's say. Worrying about my Welsh pronunciation, I can barely speak English. And pick it up there and show you the view there, so I shall hang up now. See you in a bit. Okay, I'll probably delete that video clip. Some reason it's pointing to the sky. Anyway, right, here we go. I've left the marshy bit, let's reiterate, and I'm heading from the northern of the two reservoirs at Garwnant, which is Cantref Reservoir, and I'm heading to one that's slightly split off from it, about a mile up roughly, and that's Beacon's Reservoir. So I'd cross the marshy ground you saw, and now on a much more sensible path. So there is the road from Llyn and Merthyr up to Brecon, leading to the Storey Arms, which was expanded in recent years with a massive car park, and it's a place to go for everyone to take their pilgrimage to Pen y Fan. Though we will be heading to Storey Arms, like I said, I won't be taking the ascent. As I said earlier, this one is definitely the road less travelled. It's a beautiful path, the Taff Trail path through Llyn Tarell. There's a multitude of paths once you get down there. I'll be taking the main one, but there are some that take you closer to the river, or you can cross over the road, and there's ways and means to get some absolutely fantastic places from here. Camera's jibbing about a bit, there we go. There's also a road, which I don't know if you can hear, to the left of me, and that leads to Penderyn, which I've been recently in recent videos. That's a different road from the one at Garwnant, obviously. And in between those two roads, there's a large quarry. There's Llyn Cwm Llwch, and I'm surprised I remembered that, and Tarell. And again, the camera's pointing to the sky. Okay, let's see if I can fix that. Don't know why it's drifting to the sky. Let's see if that behaves now. It's a bit difficult to access, such a small camera. But it's nice to drift to the sky. Anyway, you can see it's an absolutely beautiful day. It's a bit gusty, not as gusty as the memorial trip we just took. And there we are, see there's some more evergreen forestry down here. We are at forestry sort of ground. And this is the path we're taking. And here's the one waterfall. Take a view to it now. And you can see the wall up there. That wall shows us where the Penderyn Road is. And there's a car going over it now. I don't know if you've seen the video. But here's the one waterfall. Absolutely beautiful place here. So here it is. Let's have a couple of seconds of quiet contemplation of this. Right, okay. Leaving from here now, we head north. I'll then go across the top of Beacons Reservoir, and head to Storey Arms. So I'll hang up this section now and we'll pick it up again in a short while by Storey Arms. Here I am just shy of 6 kilometres from my start, and this is Beacon's Reservoir. Just possibly get closer to it. I know, don't know if they're supposed to. I do occasionally see boats and paddle boaters and stuff on the reservoir here, but this road we're taking skirts the northern edge of it. Here in the distance is Craigcard Glaciad with a ridge. It's actually a beautiful natural bowl, very steep sides. I think there's a Roman road in the bottom of it. Absolutely stunning place. Been there recently. Absolutely silent. Went there in late summer. I aim to go there again early summer, catch up and see what it's like. There's some of the paths marked down into the bowl are a bit tenuous, shall I say, but they're doable. You just gotta ignore the line on the map and just head down into the bottom of the amphitheatre. Once you're there, you can follow the bottom of it up to a road which I believe leads to Ysradfellte. When I went there, I did a bit of a loop and then came back the same way. But there are some interesting mountains up there, so one time I may come this way, Craigcard Glaciad, and then up towards some of the fans on the other side of Pennervan. Now, Storey Arms is hidden at the moment behind those trees and that ridge, so we've got a little bit of distance yet to go to get to Storey Arms. But I thought I'd quickly show you Beacon's Reservoir. Something out on there. I'm not sure what it is. Looks like a barn or some sort of float. I don't know. Some parked cars on the road there. But here, silence and solitude, and just the way I like it. And you can see it's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful sunny day. Bird song. A little bit of surface water, but a wet socks never hurt anyone. So I'll hang up again here and pick it up as we get probably closer to the Taff Trail, and then show you some of the descent down into the Tarell Valley bottom there, and then around to the eventual ascent towards Llyn Cwm Llwch, which I still think I'm mispronouncing, but I'm going to have to live with it. I'm a bit too far from civilization to together phone a friend and verify my pronunciation. So okay, I shall hang up here and we shall catch you in a little while. Okay, I thought I'd better mention this section. This is just up from Beacon's Reservoir, and like I said, this is the second bit of marshy ground. You can see it is quite damp. This I believe is about a K. I've always found this bit a bit treacherous. There's no easy route through it. You just have to soldier through. So it's not too bad. It's just a bit marshy, can be a little bit slippery. The ground is that sort of wet slime. It looks like there's a slightly easier path here. Yes, there is. So we're now going to head, basically keeping these trees now right. Though up there, if you fancy it, that is, like I say, Craigcard Glaciad, Nature Reserve. But like I said, that's not our plan today. Though I keep thinking, do I change my mind and go there? I decided no, I'll stick to my planned route. Last one's to Llyn Cwm Llwch was one where I did a lot of redecision on the go. I think this one I'll try and stick to the route as much as possible. Just for me, basically. See if I can do it. Am I able to actually keep to a plan and stick to it? Excuse the camera moving around a bit, I'm trying to sort out the lanyard. So yes, it's a nice little jaunt this. Not too bad. Pick up the pace a bit now. For a little while I can. So I'll hang up here because, like I said, this is just more of the same. This is just a bit of a muddy path. Got to go through. You can see the path carrying on there with the trees on the right, and then I'll pick this up again as I come close to the Storey Arms and the Taff Trail path towards Libanus that we will eventually be following. Okay, now I'm partially through the second marshy section, where the golden rule is you've got two options. You have wet feet or you have wet feet. It's as simple as that. But you can see in the distance here Storey Arms. You see the huge amount of cars that park. It's very popular. And there's the one route up, and you can see up towards Penrhyn there. This is part of the reason why I avoid going this way if I got Penrhyn. I'd rather go via Tarell River, and up then, and then you hit all the other peaks on the way. Fanny Big, Craig Quarelli, and there's one of those, name escapes me at the moment. But you hit those and then you get to Penrhyn and Cribben. You can see this is very, very popular. You can see, look, in the distance there is the car park, and you can see the congregation of cars, but they just parked all on this road on the ground there. And this is after the car park's been expanded. And it's £7 I think to park there. So yeah, it says a lot. But like I said, this is the motto of today's journey, is the road less travelled. So though we will be coming back towards Storey Arms, we'll be coming back down the path on the other side of it, and we'll be joining that pathway down. As you can see, there's a raft of people going up there. I'm not downplaying Penrhyn, it can be treacherous, it can be dangerous, but lots of people do it. It's not quite as Snowdon. It's an impressive peak, it's an interesting peak, and it is good to go to, but it's one of those, I think I've done it a couple of times and it's like, yeah, that's okay. Then in winter, then in summer, the one ultra was an absolute nightmare. Going up through some of the peaks. But today's emphasis is really, apart from avoiding the marsh, and you can hear me sort of slashing through it, today's emphasis is picturesque. And there are some great views from Penrhyn, don't get me wrong. But that's not our journey today. So I'll hang up here now. In a little while I'll be the other side of the Storey Arms, and we'll be heading down towards Llyn River Tarell, and taking that path down there. We'll have the Brecon Road, that road, on our left then, and we sort of run parallel to it for a little while, but then we diverge off and head towards small villages before we take a right turn and then head up towards the lake that we're going to see today, which my friend assures me is full of leeches, so we're not going anywhere near it. So I'll hang up here because all I'm doing is getting wet feet, and pick it up in a little while. Okay, this sign, you can see that, we're at the Storey Arms. That's the way to walk up to Corndee. Penrhyn, that was the peak name I couldn't remember, Corndee. But instead, we're heading down here. Now, this is marked on maps as the Taff Trail. It's very distant from what I would associate as the Taff Trail, so I wonder if this has been mislabelled. Regardless, we're going to head down into the Tarell Valley. You see in the distance there the ridges. I don't know if you can see there by those car parks, you see there's like a little couple of valleys. One of them down there is Craig Glaciad, and there's a lay-by down there with a footpath into it. So that's quite a popular little destination. Like I said, today's motto, roads less travelled. We're avoiding the mass of humanity, and instead we're taking this route. Now let's pick up the pace a bit while I talk. It's all downhill, so it flattens out when it becomes a sort of B road at the bottom. It's quite interesting. It's almost like going forward in time in this route. You can imagine this probably looked like this is a drover's road, farmer's road, and then as people came here and it became more and more popular, it becomes tarmacked. So it is really a bit like going forward in time. Let's look up there. You see there's a couple of streams coming down the valley there, and that road then going down there leads to the Brecon Road. Like I say, we followed sort of parallel for a little while, but not for long. We dropped down into the Tarell Valley, and the road skirts the one edge. When I said earlier you had two choices, wet feet or wet feet, I forgot there's a third choice, wet hands and wet legs, because I took a bit of a tumble. Nothing particularly major, just slid a bit and landed on my side. The only thing hurt was my pride, and as is my wont, when I do that, first thing I do is look around and check nobody saw me. But yes, let's pick up the pace then. And then in a minute now we'll turn around and we'll get a good view down into Tarell Valley. You see, it's quite a nice slope. It's quite a... This alone is a good run if you come to Storey Arms, down here and back up. You get some sizable climb into your legs. And the terrain is rough enough to give you a little bit of a challenge, but not too rough to slow you down. And the usual speeding motorcyclists. Unfortunately, too many people seem to see that road as an opportunity to do their own version of Top Gear. Right, okay. So, as you see, Brecon Road veers off that way, and we're heading off to the right. So in a minute now, we'll get our first glance or glimpse. Try and mix the two words. Our first glance at Tarell Valley. Quite a wide valley bowl. The River Tarell, at least the stream bed, we get lights down in the bottom. It's a little breezy today, not as breezy as the Ysradfellte one. So, as I said, we are veering off to the right, so we're getting more and more view now of the valley. Oh, I'm just checking my legs. Just covered in mud. And actually it's the first long trail run when I've actually not had to wear long tights. I'm actually in 3/4 length. Get the legs some vitamin D. As you see, there's not bad out for sun. It's quite a bright day. Right, so we're still veering off to the right. We're leaving the road far behind us. The traffic noise is getting lower and lower. This is all farmland, so we're still technically in the beacons. Right, obviously considering we've got Pen to our right. We're coming up to, distance wise, as a quick look, coming up for 10k now, just shy of 10k. And As you can see, there's been very little human traffic today. This is the nice thing about this route. Okay, you do park at Garwnant, and Garwnant is quite popular. You do go through Storey Arms, and Storey Arms is quite popular. But on the whole, you are largely avoiding humanity. Right, so here we go. You can see the valley down there, the bottom. Some stone walls for farming. Tree line there. Some nice peaks up on the left as well. Some, I can't remember some of their names. I have been up around that neck of the wood. There's a nice road from Cwm Llech, sorry, down towards some towns to the other side of Brecon. That's a nice little route. And like I said, if you feel up to it, you can head towards Ysradfellte Reservoir and Ysradfellte that way. Did that a couple of years ago in the spring, and that was fantastic, and that's another route I'll have to go. I think the only thing that's put me off it is the nature reserve is actually quite a fierce climb out to the bowl in some places, and the paths are a little bit badly marked. So on the whole, it's one of those things where you definitely have to think on your feet. Now, I did dive out for my route a bit earlier, and this is why I think I slipped. I basically wasn't looking at the route, I was just following my nose through a path and didn't see the split off to the right through our wet part. But yeah, you can see now in the distance, there we are, the road. You see the wall of the path now heading down into the valley. Any noise now, some traffic noise, but I'm hearing more birds. I'll probably hang this up now and pick this up a little bit further on down. As you can see, it is quite a wide open view. Some forests on the left there, but this part is quite plain. But like I said, we eventually follow this road, and then eventually we'll turn back in ourselves, and we do head up towards Penderfan, not to it, but towards it, back towards Storey Arms, and then I retrace my steps past the reservoirs to Garwnant. And again, because that's parts I've already covered, unless I see something new of interest, there won't be much footage of that bit. A lot of this is just to show you, if you're interested in this path, what to expect. It's a little Google Street View of these sort of things. So it's nice to get and there's my watch telling me I've just hit 10k. So I send a check-in message to my wife now, telling her where I am, because I'm only 30 seconds on my schedule check-in anyway. May as well do both at the same time. Right, okay, stop this now, and I'll pick this up a bit further on as we drop down a bit and it gets a little bit different again. And as I said, this route now, the path nature starts to change. It's still a footpath. See the National Trust Blaen Taf farm. Now the very weathered sign says Llyn Cwm to the left and the Storey Arms to the right. And a very weathered sign there. Please close the gate, which we will do. Check the gate is closed. Gate is closed. Right, now you can see it is changing in nature again. We've got a path through farmland, so we're fenced either side. There's some trees, it's dropping down into the valley bottom. The road is still on our left there. You can stand here, some traffic noise. But look at that, look at the day. Give us some sunshine, some blue sky. And we're going to leave that road behind in humanity, and we're going to go this way. So again, we're still heading down a nice descent on some rough track. I think particularly technical by any stretch of the imaginations. And the nice thing is, this ground is at least a little bit drier. Give my feet a chance to dry out. So as you can see, like I said, the path nature does change on the way down from here. you can start to see now it starts to get more used, more, I don't know if the proper word is formalised, but the more sort of organised. There's tyre tracks, so it's obviously used by farm traffic. Oh, look at this. This is well worth getting wet feet for. And am I still recording? I can't tell. Yes, I'm still recording. Very small screen on this thing, so for my 57-year-old eyes it's sometimes a little difficult to tell. Yeah, so I took a view now of me. You can see behind me, path up there. I've got the sun shining on my bonds. Absolutely fantastic day. So I'll hang this up now, and we shall see what we get to see a bit further down as the road gets even more sort of tarmacked. Right, some more examples of it starting to get a bit more farmer like now. You can see there's gates and bridges over streams. We're now driving deep into the valley, and where there's obviously farming. Land is obviously a bit more fertile here, probably deep to the back to the river and all the streams in the bottom, compared to the drier land further up. And not quite as damp probably as the marshy bits by the reservoirs. So over on the little bridge again, and you see more tractor marks and tyre marks. So this is obviously a much more used track compared to earlier. I believe there's a equestrian centre, I think, or something a bit further down. But we'll have a look now when we get there. So I'll hang up now and give some orders a bit more different again. Okay, right, so I'm not chasing the sheep because of that fundamental Welsh stereotype. They're just on this road. What was really funny is I got a shepherd behind me, and I asked him, was it okay if I went past? He went, yeah. And I said, look, they're moving past you, perhaps you could have a job. Hey, well, perhaps I might call in and like. So anyway, like I said, now it's even changed again. You see, it's farm road. Lambing season is well underway. I'm trying my best not to be a pain, going wide, giving them a chance to get past. Okay, so like I said, now it's definitely roadish. I haven't got far in this, which reminds me, I'll send a check-it message to my beloved. Job done. So, right, a large amount of this climb is on the middle third. So I'm not going to hang up again now. Have these sheep have some peace and quiet, and catch me in a little while. Okay, I'm going to duplicate this with a video because I'm not sure where through. I think my camera just crashed. But you can see, I'm definitely on a bit farm road now. There's a lot of newborn lambs. Just past a shepherd actually was taking some of these lambs further down the road. I asked him, is it okay if I went past? Because I don't want to give these guys grief. He went, yeah, they're moving past you anyway. Perhaps we'll have a job. So there you are, Phil. I might find myself in employment when I retire. Though the idea of following and chasing sheep does unfortunately pander to a particular Welsh stereotype. It is not true. Okay, so like I said, the road has now narrowed off. We're deep in the valley. Very difficult to see, it actually is a valley, that's quite wide. there are lots of little paths that splinter off to the right. Like for example, this one says us all about Tarell Valley, Coed Carno. So let's get that in view. It's in the text and the map. Right, so I'm heading up here, and eventually I'm going to head to here and then down this bit and then back to Storey Arms. So as you see, it's now a bit roady, so I'm not going to use a lot of footage here. I'll probably hold up the footage now till I get to the right turn and we head up towards the lake. So with that in mind, I'll hang up here and catch you a little bit later. Now at the bottom of it, as you said, no vehicle asks us to pen the van because obviously idiots try it. Now that way, I believe, takes me more towards the Brecon Road, and then this way, which is the way I'm going now, takes me further along this valley, and in approximately, I can tell you now, in approximately 3k I leave this route again and I head up towards Llyn Cwm Llwch. So again, I'm hideously mispronouncing, I'm sure. So again, it's still pretty. I mean, it's very much very traditional Powys. You can see there's some beautiful scenery here. Second time I've been up here, and it's fantastic. There's go up towards the fans and all that. I do speed now. Let's be honest, it'd be a bit of a pillock to try and speed on this bit. But yes, so it's a bit like this now for about 3k, and then we turn off and it goes back to dirt track again. So I don't mind a little bit of road in this case, particularly since we're not anywhere busy and it's quite quiet. So I'll pick this up again now at the next point of turning, which is where we head up towards the lake. Okay, so we're heading close to the turn off point here, but I use my selfie sticker for extension to get a view over the hedgerow. Pardon me, I'll just do that. You should see over there the ridges of Penavon. There's the peaks, and then the other side then. Now in the shadow of Penavon on this side is that lake that we're going to visit. There's also a memorial to a little boy as well, from about 1920 I think, who went missing while walking. I think it was 6. Generics represents here. You know, we walked these mountains as kids, not quite 6 perhaps, but still was pretty young anyway. We went missing on the outside. Obviously there's farms, and Jenny was walking from one farm to another. Okay, let's go off the road a bit. Suspicious look of a BMW driver. Anyway, so we carry on here now for another 500-600 yards and we reach the turn off, and I'll continue the video here, but just like mention that we're close to where we need to be. Okay, over and out. Okay, I'll just leave one video because I just need to get shout something in the car. Strange people. Anyway, there's a footpath sign back there, and it did say Taff Trail. So I'm a bit confused about, because are we anywhere near the Taff? Anyway, Nomenclature aside, if I could say it, we're now very close to the turn off point. So I'll just mention the fact that it is indeed the Taff Trail. Bit of traffic here, so I shall hang up and catch you a bit later. Right, this is the right turn. So it's time to go up here now. Yep, I just had 3 pillocks in a BMW shout something at me as they drove past. God knows what they said, because they drove past quick enough. So
People wonder why I avoid humanity. Anyway, so let's just flip the camera again. So we are still on a bit of a road, but as you can see up there, that's roughly where we're going to be heading up towards that neck of the woods. Like I said, we are not going to hit the peaks today. I left climbing this run. I've got the Cwm Llwch in a couple of weeks, and I'm splitting my climb between 3 runs this week, 3 runs next week, and keep them consistent, upping my mileage. I'll do 90k this week instead of 80. A lot of traffic on this road. 90k this week instead of 80, approximately 100k next week, and then the week of the Cwm Llwch family, as well as the 80k I'll be doing on the day. I'm doing 30k in a week, which will take me 110, so I'm taping it up, and then the week after I only have to do 40 or 50 to keep in target and let my legs recover. A lot of Cwm Llwch family is local. It's got some good climbs on it. The Blorange and the Skirrid spring to mind, and even then from the Blorange you go to the Whistling to the Coities, there's another climb there as well. I think it ends about 3,000 metres, so I'm told. A good climb. So we have another right turn again, another warning that this is in fact a dead end. For those of you who might think there's somebody take the car up here. Look at the weather, look at that. Oh, it's not hugely warm. I mean, it's not it's not boiling hot, but it's comfortable. There's a little bit of a breeze. The sky isn't completely blue. There's some light cloud and some heavier cloud around. Apparently next week the weather's supposed to be really nice, so we felt like going to take some trips. Let's see where we go. We definitely want to go see the Botanic Gardens again. It's one of my wife's favourite places. The Arboretum would be nice as well. But we haven't yet decided, like I say, where we're going to go. I'm going to take advantage of this, my second week off. I'll do some long runs as well. I probably won't film all of them. I haven't decided yet, as is my want. Probably won't decide on the day. Probably go to Blaen and Tarell River for one, Coastal Path for another. I'll probably do a Coastal Path for Sunday before I go back to work, so it'll be a long run, there'll be less climb. And in the beginning of the week I might do a Brynaut to Llyn. If I do a Brynaut to Llyn one, I will probably video that one because there's a lot to see on that. But yes, we're now heading up. In a minute, this road now does the opposite of what we saw with the Taff Trail. This road starts to peter out and turn into dirt track and the footpath. So now we're going back in time as opposed to going forward in time, as we did at the Storey Arms. By coincidence, I end up at the Storey Arms right where the Taff Trail begins, and I then head back to Garwnant via the reservoir paths and the muddy bits, and this time try to avoid falling over. All bets are off where I'm managing, of course. So, for the last bit of a view, this lovely shady tree-lined road, I shall end this bit of the video and pick it back up as we get closer to Llyn Cwm Llwch and the memorial. One quick snippet to Philippa. Deciduous woods, looking quite sparse at the moment. Spring hasn't yet caught up here. Give it a month, we should start seeing a huge amount of green up here. So I'll definitely have to come back up here in summer and check out the forest. There's quite a lot of forest around this neck of the woods. Not all of it has been deforested. And this road is quite busy because there's a car park up here for people to walk. And there's believe there is a camping site as well, if I remember rightly. So I do expect to see a bit of traffic here. Now on the other side of the valley, can you see there the ridge? I believe that's Craig Carragasiad. And there's a fan there, Fan Gwech or something like. Oh, my pronunciation is terrible. But it's in nice mountains there to the north of Ysradfellte, and heading towards Brecon and Selly Bridge. Another area I've yet to explore. I'm widening slowly. Part of it is range, of course, for electric vehicle. I'm mindful things like charge points and range. So I plan my routes accordingly. Fortunately, I made a bit of a charity shop find last year. I found a book called 1001 Walks in Britain, and each walk only has like a third of a page description of a little map, but it gives like always good references of the walk and some details about it. And none of them are particularly like trail run long. I think the longest is about 5-6 miles at the most. So good for a nice, intense short run. Well, my reasoning was, I didn't look at the book as 1001 walks in the UK. The website is 1001 places to park in the UK and explore, because all these walks start off with some way of getting to them, whether it's by public transport or whatever. So it means I can choose one as a springboard to go off and explore further, which I did with things like Wentwood Woods. Try and say that again. Places around Usk, and some places in the Black Mountains. I found areas where I could park the car I would have never thought of. So it gave me the confidence a bit to explore. And like I said, it's the UK as well, so I've only really scratched the surface of this book, and I really should get more and more into it. But this summer particularly I'm aiming to explore a bit further. I want to go into Gloucester and the Forest of Dean, which is somewhere I've never really explored. So that's on the cards, and I've done towards Monmouth, so I've started pushing towards that area. I'll quickly flip the camera before I end this. Put the camera, you see there's the campsite and the car park. From there on, the road now stops being a road and it's a path. And we've got the forest, quite an old forest to the left of me. We shall now head down and then back up, and I'll pick this up again when we get some more things to see. Perhaps the ascent to Llyn Cwm Llwch, the lake itself, the memorial, and then some footage of the way back to the Storey Arms, because it's a descent into a little valley and back up. But on the map it looks like quite a wide path. Now I think I've done this descent before, but I can't remember. So I'm going to find out if I get some deja vu from it. So enough more wandering, enough meandering, hang up now, and we'll catch up a little bit later. Okay, there's some of the campsite. You see quite a wide brook passing through it, some tents, quite a bit of parking up here, quite busy. Then we're going to head through and out the other side, and from there we head up to Llyn Cwm Llwch and down the valley towards the Storey Arms. And that marks a bit of a loop. That marks a bit of a loop from where I'm going. And then from then on it'll be down past Cantref and Beacon Reservoirs, down the wet muddy paths, down through the foresty road of Garwnant to return to the car. Parking is currently free in Garwnant, the machines are not working. Typically it's £5 a day to park there. It's free at the moment, but I don't actually mind, because let's be honest, it's peace of mind to park somewhere reasonably safe and know your car isn't hopefully going to get stolen, and then you end up having to do a 20-mile trail run and a 20-mile walk home. Doesn't sound particularly fun. So yes, as you can see, it's a campsite, the brook's nearby. I'll have to look on the map. I think this probably is the source of the Tarell I guess. That's quite pretty. I'll grab my phone now and take some proper photos. Give me a second. Right. Okay, let's take some more photos with my phone. So as you see, as I said, the path is now de-evolving. It's gone from line of road to rough track to footpath, and we push up now through here. I'll probably hang up the video for a bit now, mainly because we don't get to see really much till we're a bit closer. But you see we're in the shadow of Pen and the ridges and the mountains. And the other side of that lot over there is heading towards things like Tarell and Cantref. Might take the long way, but we're heading back towards Storey Arms and Garwnant. So I'll end it here, and we'll pick it up again a little bit later with some more footage of the ascent up to the lake. Thought I'd have to capture this. There's a beautiful view of the ridges. The stream beside me is Llyn Cwm Llwch. Makes sense. So this is obviously Cwm Llwch. I'll have to look up what that is, the Welsh for. It's quite a silent, it's not silent valley anyway. I'd have to do some perusing on the vocabulary to find that out. But we're now heading up towards the final ascent towards the lake. See the trees? It's starting to die off a bit now, it's starting to hit the tree line. The ridges up there. Now we'll go up alongside the one ridge, so I've got kind of a climb to go. So even though I won't be hitting Pen, I'll still be in some good climbing. I've already done about, I believe, 1700 metres this week, so I'm not going to stress too much exactly how much climbing this is. Fair enough to say it'll be a bit. I've just noticed there's a building there. I've never noticed that before. There's a car there, so someone must live up here. Did they? If they do, they're one lucky bugger. I mean, no secret before these videos are I'm a big fan of solitude. So anything like this really floats my boat. Okay, we skirt around, we don't go through this person's land. So here we go. Okay, so quick look. Little cottage. I'll take some footage now. This is quite an old cottage. No windows on this side. That's odd. On the windy side. Yeah, there is no tree. There's one window there, so that's obviously some cottage wasn't over well out of the way of nowhere. Okay, I'll hang up and go back now when we get to Llyn Cwm Llwch. Now you see, this is beautiful. Real sheltered path. And if I slightly leave the path a minute, you'll see the source of Llyn Cwm Llwch. There I see it. I'm assuming, and my geology related friends and my wife will probably educate me, school me, but obviously in all those channels, streams water feeds down and then hits the bottom here, the valley bottom. You see there's a bit of a falls, and all this water gets concentrated and forms Llyn Cwm Llwch. Look at that. I pan across now. Look at how beautiful that is. Clouds are coming out a little bit. Nothing major. Temperature's not too bad. The ascent is getting steeper. It's getting very steep in a minute. There probably might not be much footage because that sounded more like a pervert heavy breathing if I had to do that bit with the mic this close to my throat. But absolutely beautiful views. And I say this is, I'm still not really anywhere near Penban. Penban's those ridges up there. So yeah, if you want to come here, go to Penban, please do. Enjoy the peak and everything. But take some time and explore around it. A bit like a Erie National Park. It's far more than just Erie. The Brecon Beacons are far more than Penban, Sugarloaf, Blorenge, in South East Wales anyway. You know, there's so much more to it, and there's such an amazing amount of terrain and sights to see, and you can really get into nature. Okay, as you can tell by my heavy breathing, some of it requires a bit of effort, but that's what makes the reward even sweeter. And you see there's people heading down here now, obviously been to Llyn Cwm Llwch. So I'm not going to get too close, so I'll show it. It's a lake. It's not particularly big, and apparently it's full of nature. Camera decided I want to go that way then. Strange. So around the distance, like I said, there's Llyn Cwm Llwch. Some amazing waterfalls. I'll have some time in the summer. I might go a bit closer to them. The terrain's still a bit damp, but I hate to get that close. And you see, it's quite steep sided. Might be a bit treacherous to get too close. Still some amazing views. So okay, pick this up in a little while again. Yeah, the fans are beautiful, don't get me wrong. If I now pan down, I'm going to look down now to where I've come from. And look at that. Look at that view down there. Absolutely beautiful. So we head a bit over here now to get a bit more view into the bowl. You can see how over steepened the slopes are. You can see the banding. Yeah. Given how over steep those slopes are, they're no long lasting on a geological timescale, unfortunately. Some stage the fan dance will dance no more. Until then, it's an absolutely stunningly beautiful view. Just going to quickly send a check-in point to my wife. There we go. Surprisingly enough, I've got no phone signal up here, so I'm having the nature satellite capability. We're still not quite at the lake, but just so I quickly show you this section. This is absolutely beautiful. There we go, in the shadow of Penban, is the eponymous Llyn Cwm Llwch. Not a particularly big little lake, not particularly big lake, big little lake, very Welsh views. and I have done good authority. It's quite leech infested. You can see where it's obviously filled from downflow from the ridges here, and you hear I'm panting quite a bit. Quite a steep climb and quite a slick one. It's a bit wet, so I've had to take my time, shall we say. But whew, what a climb. And I'm still going, so I'm going to hang up here. People coming down, big road, sticking a selfie stick in their face, and I shall pick this up again on the top. Okay, so people have gone, so I show a bit better view from slightly higher up. I'm not quite yet at the ridge top, but you can see the Llyn. There's the descent down. I'm breaking in the distance, and this is the bit I've left to go. It is starting to ease off a bit now. And like I said, I think I get to the memorial. I hope I plotted to. Now I am a bit flighty in choosing my routes. I'm not a bit flighty in plotting them. I'll fine tune them. I'll sort of look on Google Satellite Views, see if there's anything interesting, worthwhile, so diverging off, or even to the point of diverting the route completely. So sometimes it's as much a surprise to me as to you. But this is a place I've been before. Only last time I came down here. So you can imagine I was probably going a bit quicker. But if we pan over, so the ridges of Penavang, there you go. There's the lake. Beautiful view down into the valley, some people wandering up. And this path up. Quite an interesting little path. A very strange choice of the use of the word interesting. Still a bit slimy. It's drier up here than elsewhere. There's still just enough surface water around to make this clay a bit. When there's a bit less water, it's a bit sticky and it's good. But right now it's a bit slimy. So if you're not careful, it runs away with you. Now I believe that post up there you can see in the distance is the memorial. And you can see further on up there, it's the path to Cribin and Penavang. Now I won't be doing that today. I've done enough climb. I'm at 21 roughly K, I think, am I? I've got 11K left. No, I've got 19K. Let's see if I can give you an exact figure. Right. So I'm at 20.67K and I've already climbed 800 metres. Nearly enough. And I've got 300 metres of descent to even out. But now I've done a little bit of climbing as well. And as I said before, the problem a lot of people, and I see it on Garmin forums and Garmin groups, I used to be a moderator on a Garmin group, a lot of people get hung up on the fact they plot a route on their route plotter of choice, and they get out and do the route, and the elevation doesn't match, or the ascent doesn't match. Route plotters use a digital elevation model to model the elevation of the underlying terrain. It's normally quite granular, 10 metre, 30 metre, and so at best you really should consider those ascents advisory. They may not take into account quite strong little undulations in terrain within each 10 metre grid. Plus with barometric altimeters, a good working practice I use is I always calibrate mine before I run. I have a setting on my watch that when I start an activity it reminds me to calibrate, and so I calibrate the barometric altimeter. Still affected by wind pressure changes, that can't be helped, but it's still more accurate than GPS, because GPS altitude, the Z component then, as opposed to the X and Y of latitude and longitude, the Z component shows the most errors typically, and so even with issues with a barometric altimeter, unless it's really playing up, and you should find that the ascent that gives is far more accurate than anything else. So okay, we are heading up now, and yes, the turn right is at the monument, so we bear my babble a little bit longer, and instead of my voice we'll get some views. Look at that, wow, absolutely stunning. So with those views in mind, I'm going to quickly stop this video, take some photographs of filter and pick it back up again at the monument. Okay, I took some photos, and just as I restart the video I've been reminded to take a check-in, so I shall just quickly send a check-in. And I said before, I said again, the in-reach is the best money I've spent, even with a subscription. It gives me and my wife a degree of confidence then, and a little bit more peace of mind. I do like to go out into the wilds, and even though it's not that particularly, we're not talking the forest of Borneo for example, there still is some issues with phone signal here, so very safe and sorry. I still carry first aid kit and whatever, so I'll make sure I'm safe. But anyway, here we go, here's the obelisk. Tommy Jones, 5 years old, lost his way between Cwm Llwch and the Log Inn on the night of August the 4th, 1900. 29 days he was searched for and found on September the 2nd. Poor dad. 5 years old, up here at night. Pretty scary, isn't it? Okay, I am now heading back towards Storey Arms. Folks, that wind! I'm hoping you can hear me over the wind. Some fantastic views over towards Ysradfellte. But you see the path I'm heading for there? That takes me down towards Storey Arms. On the other side, I believe, there are the fans of Ysradfellte. Fanfare, I think, might be one of them. There's another. I haven't really explored a lot the northern area of Ysradfeltte. I've run it once. I have some more runs planned to go there. The big problem with Ysradfeltte is the car parks are very popular. The one is quite small as well. So if you want to explore it, the trick is to go early. I don't do early mornings very well. I'm very much a late night owl. Personally, my natural cycle tends to be go to bed 4 in the morning and wake up midday. That's what I'm much more comfortable doing. Find the midnight hours peaceful, it's quiet. I might take my telescope out just observing, which I haven't managed to do recently because the weather conditions have been absolutely appalling bad. But now I've got this little DJI Pocket 2, it does longer exposures and it does time lapses, so I'm hoping to test it out some stage at an hour long exposure and try and get some star trails. Or at least a video of it showing the rotation of the earth around the pole. But temperature's dropped quite a bit, still not terrible, but it's cold. And there in the distance you can see Cantref Reservoir, Beacon's Reservoir, sorry, Cantref is the one closest to Garwnant, that's Beacon's Reservoir. So that gap between the trees there, above the reservoir where I'll be heading, that's where I took my little tumble and wet my leg. Somebody walking up to a caravan here on the main path. Loads of people now coming up to a caravan. You can see now the path I'm heading for dips. Oh, and that reminds me as well while I'm here, I had a look on the map and that stream is marked Blaen Taf Road, which leads me to believe that yes, the Taff does come up this far, so it's great to be educated sometimes, and I can genuinely say I have been educated. So look at my camera's doing on battery. Oh, it's doing quite well. I am plugged into the solar charger. I think I've improved the solar charger's efficiency because when I bought it, somebody put a screen protector on it, it was terribly diffuse and I managed to scrape off quite a bit of it, and I think I'm getting much better solar capacity out of it. So okay, I'm going to turn right and head then down towards half an hour. So I'm going to run a bit. I've been walking a bit, but in all fairness with that ascent, I don't really blame me. Let's try and pick up the pace a bit. This isn't going to be a quick one. Because there's a lot of climb today. The flatter ones I can just put some pace on and pick it up and sort of enjoy that. With this is very much a view-based thing. Right, so here we go. I'm now going down here, and you can see in the distance the path goes back up, and that drops me down then to Storey Arms. There is a path that heads down that way towards the woods, and if I was feeling particularly brave to go off route, that might be tempting, but it would chop a bit of distance off, and I don't really want to chop much distance off. If I finish this in the plotted distance, I end this week with 90 and I'll make me really happy. I mean, I could do it, that'd probably cut about 4k off my run, I guess. Nah, I'll see what I feel like when I get to that bit. It's interesting, and it's somewhere, well, I haven't been down here either, so none of this is known to me particularly well. So why don't I shut up, put the camera away, get some running done, and then if I do decide to, I'll start the camera back up and say I chickened out and went that way. Catch you in a bit. Right, I've come down that dip, and now on the other side after crossing the stream there. Blaen Taf, I believe it is. So it does explain a bit why it's called Taff Trail up there. Now I have a sneaking suspicion I've come down there before. A couple of months ago, I went to Kilsanos in Merthyr, and up towards the top it was very, very marshy, so I cut down through a valley, went past a memorial to some fallen soldiers, middle of nowhere, beautiful little memorial, hidden, so only those who know will know. And I believe I ended up a bit further down where those people are down there. So I'm torn whether I carry on down my normal route or take a left. The only problem, as I recall, is that it was a bit of a pain to get back onto the bit by the reservoir to cross the river there, and this was in January, and I got wet feet, and it was slightly colder than it is now, which wasn't pleasant. So I don't know. The rebel in me, the teenager in me, wants to cut the route and go somewhere else. But the 57-year-old in me is saying, might not be a good idea. But anyway, here we go. There's the ridge up there. Corndy and Penavon, some walkers down here, and this definitely looks familiar. I think I crossed a bit further along to get to here. I was talking to my wife a couple of days ago, and I pointed out, looking at my routes, I can connect myself from my home, an unbroken span of connections, to the Gower. From my home I went to Tredegar, from Tredegar I went to Merthyr, from Merthyr I went to Penderyn, Penderyn to Hyrwine, Hyrwine to Gleneath, or Hyrwine to Regos and Dee Valley, let's say. Either one of them take me to Resolven. From Resolven I've been to Neath, and Neath I've been to Llandarcy. Now the only misconnection there, so it's a bit of a cheat, did it from Llandarcy to the coast. It's not that far. If I hit the coast there, then I've done a couple of coastal ultras, and from there I can link towards Penarth, and then from Penarth short leap to Newport, and then Chips or Callicott up towards Severn Bridge, and then southwards I have to make a bit of a connection from Swansea to the Gower, and then I link to the Gower, all from single runs. And that's not even including the exploration I've done up around here. Some beautiful places, Groen Valley and Groen Fechan. The reservoir at Groen Valley is fantastic. That's what I'm definitely going to have to go up and take some video of. The best loop is the loop of the peaks. There's at least 8 peaks up there hidden by Waenvach, is it? Waenvach or Waenvach? Waenvach. It's one of the tallest in the Black Mountains. Pencarrig Calch, Pencadavar. Oh, there's a couple up there and I'm sorry if I can remember them. But anyway, there's a route there that basically circumnavigates the top of Groenvale Valley. I mean, the Groenvale Valley bed is beautiful, as is Groenfechan. But if you circumnavigate the peaks, sorry, the peak route I was on about circumnavigates Groenfechan Valley. You know, I have done the bit above Groenvale. Best way to do that is from Wern Gifford up to Llyn Cwm Llech, and then up towards Haybluff, sorry. But yeah, I'm really starting to, last couple of years, knock off a lot of these peaks. I mean, I'm 57 now, I've been doing this since I was about 49, and I did this to pick up my fitness after my wife's condition proved to be degenerative. So let's be realistic. I'm 57 now, just turned. How much longer will I be doing this? I don't know. I don't know if I wake up tomorrow ill, if I wake up tomorrow fine, if I even wake up tomorrow at all. You know, let's be seems a bit fatalist, let's be realistic. I'm 57, I'm aging a bit. Doing this for 8 years now. If I get another 8-10 years out of this, I'll be happy. My friend Paul is still running in his 60s. There are people doing ultras in their 60s. Even when I get to the point where I can't run anymore, I can walk, hopefully, and I'll walk these valleys. So yeah, it's a bit fatalistic, but it's realistic, you know. You have to. I'm Gen X, and we prepare for the worst with hope for the best. So it's a philosophy that seems to work for me anyway. So enough of my Gen X rambling, let's turn over. So up round there sort of is Craig Glaciad area, fans of Ysradfellte. I think that's far down in the distance. I'll have to look at the map. Some beautiful peaks up there. It was in Ysradfellte I disturbed a massive bird of prey eating a dead sheep. Quite a good story. It was in the wooded area around Ysradfellte up towards the north of it, in the Forest Valley Geopark. I was desperate for a wee, looking for somewhere. Saw a pile of logs, the typical thing, you know, in the forestry they do a big pile of logs. I thought, well, if I pop behind there, at least then I have some privacy. I'm in the middle of nowhere, there's nothing for miles around, but you know, still a thing. So I go to walk behind this pile of logs, and there is this massive bird of prey. Eagle size. Was eagle? I don't know. Eagles have been sighted? I don't know. It was huge. And it was eating this dead sheep. So I looked at him or her. I don't know. I'm not an expert in birds of prey gendering. I looked at them. They looked at me. I swear the look in the bird's eyes was, if I wasn't eating my dinner right now, I'd take you, and I probably could. And in all fairness, he probably could have. In my shock, I didn't even have time to pick up my camera. By the time I sort of woke up in my reverie and thought, I need to take a photo of this, he was off in the distance, probably cursing me because I disturbed a really good meal. So yeah, some interesting things you see in these areas. Okay, right, so I'm going to hang up now. There's people coming up. This is the main descent from Storey Arms to Penarvan, one on anyway, so it gets a bit busy and I hate having this camera up with people. So I'll just take some photos now. Bye. Okay, I've got 9k left, and so this is the descent down, which ends up on the northern edge of the Storey Arms site. This is the least used ascent to Penarvan, but is used. At the bottom there you see the breaking the Merthyr Road. Now what I will do is probably no more video after this section today, because I'm now returning to my route in this big loop, and we've seen the mud and everything, so unless there's anything of real interest, this will probably be the last clip before I get back to the car and we do the post-mortem. But I can't say I've enjoyed today. It's been very interesting. I love getting up around here, and like I said, and I'll say it and I'll say it again, there's far more to this area than just a few of these peaks. Explore the underlying region. There's some fascinating stuff to be hidden in the nooks and crannies of the Brecon Beacons. I mean, I'm only in this small corner of the southeast corner. At some stage I've got to start exploring westward. Ysradfellte is going to be my start of that. I am so restricted by travel time. The Brecon Beacons is actually quite wide. I've done some of the northern edge of it, and I've done some of the Epping Way and things like that with different ultras, and the one ultra I started up in Falindra up there. Not the Falindra, the Council Hospital down south in Cardiff, or the Falindra up in Powys. Yes, there's plenty of duplicate place names all in Wales, it's really confusing. So I've explored other bits of it, but only fleetingly. My main exploration is southeast for beginners, and I do want to expand that. So like I said, Ysradfeltte is next on the list this summer, and then up towards Barman, Colbren, and sort of then head over more towards the Llyn Cwm Llwch area of the beacons, which I am slowly getting to. Like I said, I have electric vehicles, so I do like to, if I'm going to park somewhere and I need to, I like to think, well, I can leave the car on charge, go out and run, and then the car's 100% when I go home. Fortunately, I haven't got away with that today. This isn't too far from home. The car's at 90% anyway, so I'll live with that. But that's become another sort of thing I've looked for. I'm going to park the car's electric vehicle park. Unfortunately, it is getting better and better. There's lots of even smaller villages and towns of car charging spots, so that widens it up a bit. Oh, my camera showing the woods. That's my fault for resting my hand on the joystick. It's okay, I'm going to hang up here now. This is now back at Storey Arms, and I'll probably catch you again on the post-mortem. Okay, I'm just heading back into Garwnant now, so I'll do the post-mortem on the walk in. I'm going to have a quick look into this descent to see if there's a tap I can wash my feet, because they are gross. If you don't mind a bit of wet feet, like I said, there's a section between top end of Garwnant, which is what? The name of the reservoir, not Beacons. Anyway, that reservoir there. It'll come to me. I'm going to look on the map because that's going to really annoy me. I've forgotten the name of that reservoir. Anyway, Northern Reservoir, Garwnant Visitor Centre Park. From there to Beacon's Reservoir, and just past there, it is damp. So you're going to get wet feet no matter what. It's Cantref Reservoir. I knew I'd remember eventually. So between Cantref and Beacon's Reservoir, some very wet, muddy sections. I took a bit of a tumble, nothing major, just on my side, a bit of mud, nothing major. But from there, once you head to down the Taff Trail from Storey Arms, absolutely fantastic, beautiful views. Step back in time a bit, and again this idea of the agricultural side, this time mid Wales rather than South Wales, because I'm really heading into low half of mid Wales here with Brecon. And then Cwm Llwch, beautiful little valley just on the bottom end of the ridges of Penifan and Condy and all that. Stunning, well worth the trip. Now I know that Storey Arms has electric charging. I mean, if you don't mind paying the parking fee and you can get there where this space is, that's a good way of really getting to that area, avoiding the wet feet. And like I said, don't really bother. If you want to see Penifan, go, don't get me wrong, but I'm the first to say there's a lot more to South East Wales and South Wales in general in one mountain, and it's well worth a visit. So I'm just about to head now to the visitor centre. I'm going to stop this activity. I can see my car, so the good news is the car's still here. Parking's currently free. There are other cars here, so I'm not going to be locked in, or I hope not anyway. So there'll be another video saying I'm sleeping in the car. So I'll hang this up for now. 32.14k, just shy of 1,000 metres climb. Spectacular. I'll see what I'll do next week. I won't video everyone next week. Videoing slows me down obviously because I talk and walk. And I want to do a couple next week with a bit faster pace. I definitely want to do the coastal path at some stage. But either the Blaenavon or Llangatig one I will video because it's interesting to see. So with the post-mortem over, I shall hang up now and go home, put all this together into some sort of cohesive whole, and put it up on YouTube. Have fun and enjoy, and see you in the next one.